SS up there as well, and particularly early, he's been so active around the map to relieve that laning pressure. Because you talked about some of the importance of that, especially against a team like OG.
Yeah. No, I think MSS has been playing great. Actually, I mean, all of their players, I think, have been stepping it up quite a bit. I also saw CCNC in their early matches. He was rolling over some people. I think it was Liquid, especially. In those series, damn, he was looking real strong.
So we also see the Chen. I was kind of worried for that. It gives this OG this early game tempo. It's one of the no-tail classics when he moved to support. He used to be a Meepo player, so he has this micro skill like built into himself. He's practiced it over the years. He played Meepo support too, but I don't think we're going to see that now. But this Chen ban, I think, is good for Newbee. With their bans, they're slowing the pace down. They're not giving away the Ench for the early game. They're not giving the Chen for the early game. So they're going to try to slow down, maybe get themselves like a comfortable position in the draft.
Yeah, and similarly, you see the reverse theme that on OG, they're worried about scaling. They're worried about Mirana scaling into the late game, as you talked about, possibly from the 4 roll. And Pylai Dai, 34 and 16 in his career on the Warlock. That's one of the strongest scaling 5 position heroes in the game.
It also helps Yawar's lane. You have a Shadow Ward in your carry. He'll kind of give a little more sustain in the lane. So banning the Warlock kind of makes your offlane a little stronger if you don't want to play against it. It's similar to the heroes like Bane that some teams will run if they want to protect their safe lane. You pick this 5, and their whole point in the game is to help your carry have a good game.
Absolutely. So we are getting into the first phase picks here, moments away. Elder Titan, the most picked hero in this tournament, extremely successful, but tempo-wise, again, Elder Titan in this patch, 20 and 6 in games that end before the 35-minute mark, only 21 and 24 in games that go past that point. OG, we all know they want to play fast.
Yeah, that actually surprises me about the stat of ET. I think the hero was really good throughout the entire game, not just early on. One thing to note is that Alchemist was not banned in the first phase. I think he's been highly contested throughout this entire tournament. But I can't really disagree with the bans of either of the teams.
The hero is really strong in the early game. Yeah, his aura is really good when you don't have, damage reduction items. You don't have hoods or pipes or armor.
Yeah.
So I think once it gets later in the game, some teams will buy ACs, they'll buy pipes, they'll buy, plate mills, these kind of things, and it kind of offsets the aura for ET. But in the first 35 minutes, you're kind of more focused on getting, drums, Yasha, Maelstrom for your carry, maybe for your mid, a Blink Dagger, even a BKB. But once that's out, the aura is going to kind of crush you.
Well, Newbee coming into this draft, in their last 7 drafts, they had first phase 13 different heroes, and they're continuing that stat. And of course, OG 4-0 in the group stage behind Ana's Core IO, going that HOD, Aghanim's Heart of Tarask build. Which of these first phases do you guys like more?
I kind of like OG's a little more, but that's just my personal take. I don't think Visage is that great. I know that they like it a lot because for them it's flexible, at least as far as I'm concerned. But I just think that this IO and ET, it's just so much comfort for OG. So I'm pretty sure that they feel really good about themselves right now.
Like I said, the early game is really strong with the Wisp ET. His aura is going to increase the damage once this Wisp hits 15 and his Ags. His spirits are just going to deal a crazy amount of damage in a team fight. So it's a little scary for Newbee.
And this is, of course, the 4th Visage pick of the tournament, 3-1 so far, still sitting on 111. Kind of unbelievably, only 6 heroes unpicked so far in this tournament. As we go into this second phase, obviously, Newbee, a lot of flexibility in his first phase here. This Tiny can be a core, can be at the support position. Where do you guys see Visage? Is this definitely a core?
I think most teams have run it as support.
Really?
More
okay.
often than not.
Yeah.
I think the Tiny might look better as a core.
Okay.
If he gets this Blink Dagger, maybe Echo early, the Wisp has kind of high HP if he goes, Bracer or 2 or the Hod. But I think he doesn't have much armor. So this Tiny will combo him, hit him, 2 times, and maybe he gets low enough that the OG can't continue the fight.
Yeah, I agree with Gunnar. I think Visage is most suited right now for the support role. It's also how most people play them. Also something to note about OG's dual lanes, they usually synergize very well. Like let's say OG, they lane this Wisp and ET together. ET really enjoys a hero that can potentially help him, and if it's Wisp with him, I think it's actually really hard to run into this lane if you're Newbee.
It's also double movement speed. You get movement speed from Tether, and then the Wisp will match the ET's movement speed that he also gets from Spirit. So they're gonna be, speedy, running at the enemy off lane, if it's a safe lane Wisp. Axeban, I think that's more to protect their Visage. He does really well against birds. He's a natural Vanguard Crimson Guard buyer. And he, he can call the birds, he can kill them in a couple spins, so I think it's more to protect their Visages now.
I think Bad Rider or Bristleback would be really good for OG in this next phase, so I'm hoping that Newbee ban out one of them, preferably the Bad Rider.
So you like Bristleback for the physical damage against the birds, and you like Batrider just for the laning?
Batrider is just really annoying to deal with for these two heroes.
Okay.
He kind of burns through the Visage really fast. Same with Tiny, he has very low turn rate, and he's a slow hero on top of that. Also, it pairs really well with Relocate, at least for Batrider. And Bristleback is also just a very known counter to the bird.
He just turns around, has his passive, and then pass reduces damage, and then he gets blocked by Vanguard, so he takes actually no damage in the other game.
Yeah. So the Alchemist ban coming out in the second phase. You guys did talk about that in the first phase. Been one of the more contested heroes in the tournament. Second most banned. Actually, maybe first has moved ahead of Enchantress.
Yeah. So from OG's bans, you can see they don't want a slow game, or because this Sven and this Alk in like a slower game, they're going to be able to farm. So the OG is kind of trying to get this like maybe slower game with the Wisp, but they don't want to have this Newbee in this comfort being in a slow game. And from Newbee, you can see they're a little scared of the team fight from OG. They're banning the Magnus with RP, banning the Axe with Call, they're banning the Tide Hunter with Ravage, banning these like team fight heroes you can kind of group around. Maybe they get a Blink Dagger, and then they frontline. So I think Newbee's kind of playing towards their slower style that they can fight into the enemy team without having to 5v5.
I think this is, by the way, low-key one of this man, Snaking's best heroes, Beastmaster. He is 14-2 in his last 16 pro games on that hero, and I think this gives them the option of forcing that tempo early. Beastmaster plays very fast. I still think there is some chance that this Visage will be in that core role with the Beastmaster aura.
Oh, definitely could be. Definitely could be.
The birds have a low BAT, I think, so they work much better with the Beastmaster aura. Also, I think Beastmaster is a little undervalued right now for what he gives to the team. He pushes out lanes if he wants to just go boars, or he can even get Necrobook push out lanes by himself. But the more important one, I think, is just the vision that he gives from his Hawk. He gives this vision, and teams are so much better at playing around vision these days. Sentries are a little more hard to come by, you only get 10. So this Hawk kind of scouts the whole team, and once you see a hero or two, you are free to farm the other part of the map.
So the Rubik here for OG does give us some information here. With the Elder Titan being played almost exclusively in the support position, tells us more than likely this is going to be an Ana Wisp again.
Grimstroke matches up well with the Beastmaster. You can double roar. It's also one of the better heroes against Wisp from the support. If he ever is going to relocate in, it's going to be 2 heroes. That's a free ult.
Absolutely.
You can instantly get a double roar. You can get double, Grave Chills from the Visage, Soul Assumptions. There's all these like combos that they have built in, and it's also one of the better scaling supports. He has an early game GPN talent, so he can maybe get a sheep if the game goes past 35 minutes, which, as you said, might not happen.
If OG has anything to say about it, it won't. But I think we need to talk a little more as it becomes clear that this is potentially going to be another Ana IO. How do you counter core IO? Because it certainly looked like nobody in the group stage figured it out.
I think Pipe is one of the more important things. His level 15 talent with the Ags is really scary. It does so much damage. I think it's like 150 per spirit.
It's really high. I think preferably against IO, you try to fight him before he has his timing. His insane power spike is his 15 with Aghanims, because then he gets a talent, the permanent balls and whatever. And then, like Anna was saying, like if you have good sustain with Pipe and maybe some Greaves hero, I think then you have a good shot at playing against the hero.
Yeah, and I like you guys talked about Bristleback earlier on. I really like this pick here. Number one, obviously the physical damage, but Bristleback is a better tower hitter than people give him credit for, with Warpath and everybody taking the associated talents now.
Also, in the mid game, if this is probably a 3 Bristle, the Wisp is going to tether to him. If he goes out Heart build, the Bristle can't die.
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, the Bristle is going to have 500 movement speed. His passive and phase boots, this Wisp and this Bristle are going to run around in the mid game. They're going to hit your towers. You're going to be so scared. Maybe the Bristle gives the Wisp a Solar Crest, so the Wisp also hits fast. They kind of take these buildings really quickly. And
I really like the way you put that, right? I think we as casters and analysts sometimes overuse the phrase, oh, this hero can't die. That doesn't matter unless that hero is really doing something to threaten, and this Bristleback is going to be in a great position in this game to do that, create so much chaos.
It also is one of those nice heroes where they feel forced to jump on you. You're hitting their buildings, but you have an ET. They kind of clump on this Bristle. They're going to get 3-man stomped. The Wisp is going to reload in. They're going to get an Earth Splitter, and then the team fight's going to look a little scary.
All right, very nice. Going into the 5th phase here, it's actually Newbee banning out the Ember Spirit, despite that being one of the signature heroes lately for CCNC. We're waiting on the final ban coming out from OG here. What do you think we're looking at for that 5th pick for both teams?
I think a Crossvex Invoker would round out OG's lineup very well. I like it very much against Newbee's kind of team fight, and I think it just synergizes so well with OG. Actually, I think it would give Newbee such a hard time to play this game.
So I guess this Tiny or this Visage have to be cores now, right? One of the two. So I think the Bristle pick is going to make this Tiny core a little scarier, but on the other side, I think the Visage is way scarier to play against as a Bristle. So I think Newbee's going to be more inclined to put this Tiny on the mid lane, or what they could do is they put the Tiny with the Grim in the safe lane. And they kind of do this big combo to try to burst the Bristle in the lane. He has Inkswell, you know, he toss avalanches. So I think Newbee is just going to pick a hard carry that they're going to make space for with these four.
I really agree, and I wonder if you guys agree with me. Just overall, as we take a step back from the individual hero mechanics, I feel like Newbee have really had an answer to OG so far in this draft. Are you surprised by that?
I'm surprised by this.
Omni Knight pick. All right. Well, you want to talk about heroes not dying. So what are the lanes here for OG?
Mid Omni Knight, maybe?
Okay.
Think so. Yeah.
I think mid Whisper, mid Bristle.
I don't know.
I want to see it.
Is it OG Radiant? I believe they're Radiant, right?
I believe so, yes.
So if OG's Radiant, the Bristle can actually stack his own Ancients from the mid lane with Coil Spray. So you can just walk under the cliff, Coil Spray, stack his own Ancients, and if he does that every minute for the first 5-6 minutes, he'll hit this level 7, and then he's going to hit level 10 in the next minute.
They'll probably decide off of the last pick on Newbee, how they put their lanes. I would actually really like Timbersaw here for Newbee. I don't know if they're capable of playing all their heroes like that, but they have...
Triple strength cores.
Yeah, 4 strength heroes.
You don't have to worry about scaling too much this patch, I think. A lot of the heroes scale without needing like a hard carry, right? So it's like there's Ags now, there's Moon Shards if maybe this Tiny gets a Moon Shard late game, even the Tiny Ags Daedalus, there's your physical damage in the late game. So this Timbersaw, if they play it with like all their heroes, they can put the Timber mid or top. He's gonna have a good game. He's gonna slow down the game because OG can't pressure him. Yeah. He can sit in front of all their towers. I think it's a good pick.
Yeah, I like OD and Timber, but I don't know if they're gonna pick a hero for Yawar maybe in the safe lane instead. I feel like they might be thinking about Slark. I wouldn't like it as much, but could be something that makes sense. All these heroes are kind of abused this tankiness or like long fights with high sustain.
What about a Life Stealer?
I think it's okay, but I feel like it might just lack some damage. I don't know if he can cut through those heroes.
Statistically, Lifestealer, there you go. That has been a late game hero in this tournament and in the recent past. Guys, we got a heck of a game here underway. OG facing off against the North American squad for the second year in a row to start their TI main event. But before we throw it over the game, we've got Thanks Purge with the last word.
Hey guys, OG opening with their IO in the first phase is not too surprising considering what they've done with the group, in the group stage. And what's really effective at doing is once it buys Aghanim Scepter, it has a really good mid-range, high damage output. So it's not good for IO if the enemy heroes can get right on top of it. So to cover that, OG has Bristleback to be really obnoxious and tanky to kind of give it some space in between. And they can also protect it with their Elder Titan support, as well as the final Omni Knight pick. They can buff up his strength and make it hard to disable him. So something that Newbee might want to do is maybe try to crush the IO in the lane. They pick potentially really strong lane supports like the Visage. They could potentially tri-lane him, try to nuke him down before he gets a lot of items. Or what they need to do is just hit the back line and blow up those heroes if possible. It's super important that the IO doesn't snowball. If they commit to the IO, they need to kill him without him getting a lot of response kills, or it's just going to get worse and we're going to see a lot of matches like we saw in the group stage. So with that said, we're going to throw you guys right over the casters and have an awesome match.
An awesome match would be absolutely wonderful. Sind and I think we were spoiled for our second series yesterday, but hey, let's see how we go on the first one. Newbee versus OG. We're wondering if there's going to be a draft advantage for OG because we've been drafting this quirky little wisp, but as the panel was saying, it seems like Newbee have prepared? Preparation?
Really?
I know. Amazing.
Yeah. Both teams have really different lineups and really different win conditions in this, like, complete clash of... The case for most of OG's games in the group stage because nobody has their style. But yeah, I think as the panel has talked about leading into it, it's really important for Newbee to get on. We were debating. I think the Timbersaw suggestion, I looked at the draft, I was like, Timber is amazing here, but I was thinking, does this fit how, like, Newbee's team, they put Yawar and a hero like Timbersaw, are they looking for the Lifestealer or something like Weaver?
Yeah.
And they do end up going for the more classic type carry. which doesn't put them on as much of a timer as a Timbersaw would have.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the mentality they have. They're like, okay, OG will hit a mid-game timing, we need to survive that, and we'll win late.
I also just like the synergy that comes from the rest of the newbie lineup. Like, we could look at UR, but we've been talking about the Grimstroke and what can work with Soulbind, and there's so many different things that can do it.
Yep.
And OG should be aware of this. They were the ones who started trying to find their confidence back at ESL1 Birmingham by running these Grimstroke abusable Soulbinds and created this meta that we find ourselves still tapping back into every now and then.
Yep. This does not look very similar to most of OG stuff from the past, though. If you were watching OG at TI8 and you haven't been watching too much Dota this season, OG have barely played these heroes all year. They started playing the Carry Wisp just here at TI9. They've played a little bit of Elder Titan on Jerax and a little bit of Rubik, but this time it's No-Tail on the Elder Titan. Hasn't played that too much this season. Seen a little bit of Omni Knight, but Topson, Bristleback, like, it's not like they've never played the heroes, okay? But it's not the bread and butter OG that you would have seen earlier, and they're really good at adapting and coming up with new cool strategies. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they pull this off in this game.
The battles for the runes. Newbee is able to at least grab 2 of them. They couldn't grab the top one. Snaking was trying to contest No-Tail for it. Did he actually send his boar over?
Yeah, he destroyed the last one.
Yeah, so it's only 2 runes going the way of Newbee, 1 the way of OG.
That could have almost been 3 for 0 if
I love how all these...
No-Tail didn't get the rune.
Like, we had an undisclosed person who was up here before, but all the goofy flags is all the icons of OG that they're running. And it's just like every different pose that Goofy can actually take. OG, as they said, like mental kind of play against almost everybody.
Warfare.
Yeah. No-Tail, that's a lot of damage he's taking up on top lane, snaking an MSS. They put the Soul Assumption into him already. Obviously, Ana's going to give the regeneration. And this is the lane that we have seen OG abuse during the group stage as well. The ET, who could just get so much damage from these ET spirits, even like in a dual lane, it's enough.
Себе за счет Астрал Спирита, он может как-то 上路小精灵和大牛
To beat the crap out of the support, but it's just fueling MSS with the Soul Assumption, as long as MSS has the sustain.
Yeah, I think OG would like to trade with MSS as much as possible because he's low on regen in the lane. He hasn't brought too much stuff, no mangoes, because he wants to go for this quick Bassi. And I would imagine he will use the Courier soon to get up some mana here, because Visage without mana in lane is really terrible. It's one of the weakest heroes in Dota when it has low resources in lane, just not very good damage, weak animation, bad armor. And yeah, you got to play on that mana, especially as a support.
I want to also just keep a side eye on that mid lane. CCNC versus Topson. We just go to the Grand camera. We never move away from mid lane. CCNC, he's already 9-3 up against the 5-0 Topson, who's got an extra little bit of a wave coming his way though. But CCNC actually got a nice toss back onto Topson. So he took some damage from the tier 1 tower. Maybe not exactly what Topson was looking for, but it does just make you think a little bit more about how the positional play is going to be coming in here from OG. How can you actually fight against Newbee and actually win a positional battle? Obviously you have an IO, but getting slowed up or controlled up by Grimstroke with the stuns that come from him, open wounds, you got another slowdown through the Grave Shield, you got Beastmaster Roar, Tiny Toss, Avalanche, like it just seems to just be coming in spades for Newbee when it comes to control.
The key hero of the strategy for OG is actually Omni Knight that we haven't talked too much about, because he's the true enabler of the lineup. He needs to hard dispel the Roar. He needs to protect the IO or the Bristol, whoever is the carry of the game. We'll have to wait and see who becomes the true carry of it. And yeah, he is what is going to keep the fights together. Because if they don't sustain long enough, they can just get killed off by burst.
Really thinking about diving CCNC. He's got 3 Quill Spray stacks up. Top's going to come underneath the tier 2 tower and maybe a little bit too deep. Is there any support that wants to TP over? CCNC feels like he can go back in for a little bit more. Hit him with the tree. Topson's so low, but CCNC still with the 3 Quill Spray stacks. The tree toss. It's so much damage, but not enough. 29 HP. And CCNC has to move to the north side of the tower. This is why we always keep our eyes on mid.
Topson's trying to deny himself to this neutral camp. CCNC's coming over.
He's got toss available, but all right, Alphas win.
That's a long death timer though. He's down for 25 seconds. CCNC right now I think should be nuking out this wave and suicide to the tower. That way he gets all the experience in gold here and gets back to lane with full resources. I hope he's going to make this exact play. He's buying a bottle. And I think he's just going to kill himself. Yes, perfect. This is the best play he could make.
Topson fortified, probably just to make sure that CCNC can't get every single CS there.
It's just one.
Yeah. Hey,
but
one counts for it all
rather than
times,
that,
right?
the more important thing about that glyph was that he gets the experience coming back. Because if he hadn't glyphed that wave, he would have lost a full wave in tower before his respawn. This way, he protects 3 of the enemy creeps, keeping them alive outside of the tower range to come back in. I love the way the glyph has evolved since it got implemented. Like, people have got more and more creative with how to use it and what it can actually contribute to the laning stage. Outside of the obvious intended way it was implemented originally, which was to protect towers, since it started affecting creeps, you can do a lot of cool things with it.
Topson's copying a lot of damage. CCNC nuking down the wave when tossing back Topson. So he took all the brunt of the damage from the towers.
Now, CCNC has a haste rune. When he gets Avalanche again, Topson could just flat out die here. Half HP, he has no regen. Does he have anything coming in? No, he doesn't.
Courier only brings in, well, he's got a Mango. He's backing up for the 5-minute shrine.
Yeah, he might stack a camp or 2 as well to farm with Quills. Actually, it's just going to farm a double.
Man, up on top lane, snaking. Heavy amounts of damage. Nortel still got that plus 115. Snaking's low. MSS needs a load of extra space. Got his 4-stick charges, so Nortel's not going to force this issue.
Now it's time for
But
bounties.
CCNC's coming over for the 5-minute bounty runes. And if he moves fast enough, he might even get his own opening as Lifestealer. Yawar with a follow-up stun. It's going to be repelled out by Seb. But this is 4 bounty runes going the way of Newbee.
That's really, really big for them.
That actually means that OG has claimed what? 1 bounty rune? This in it's like so far in this game.
I've got 1 rune only.
Also, good thing they're not running Alchemist.
Then they would have probably got a little bit different approach entirely to the game. But yeah, that's really big for Newbee. That's the same as getting like 2 kills in terms of just raw gold.
I still wonder, like, how long does this keep going this way? Like, you got 1 kill the way of OG. The gold advantage is about 1,000 to Newbee. The CS is pretty even across the board. But we've seen these timings from OG. Once Ana gets a little bit bigger, starts to sync up with a couple of his other heroes, like the OG just roll over every other team. How does Newbee prepare for this?
They could try to out-tempo them before Wisp is level 15. So there's going to be this really strong timing for Newbee when all their heroes are level 6, when they have Visage Birds, when they have Roar, when they have the Soulbind like we've talked about. I think they should be favored in fights around that timing. OG's lineup doesn't have that much in the way of damage except the Bristleback for a while. So I think that would be a good approach. And then if you get ahead during that time, then when Wisp does hit the level 15, maybe you chill a little bit, get key items, and then you can go again. Auras are also a great solution in this game, which they will have plenty of with the Beastmaster.
Yeah.
So armor auras are really good against the Bristleback. Not so good against the IO, of course, but maybe you can buy a pipe.
They're ganking up on top. At the same time, Notel and Ana are coming into the tier 1 tower. This smoke maneuver from Pylai Dai and CCNC. This could be really punishing. If they can kill off Ana at the beginning, he tethers back. Actually, Notel's the one being slowed down. CCNC, he really wants to kill off the IO. He doesn't want the ET. Ana is the primary target, number 1. Notel puts him to sleep. CCNC moves just out of range for it, and he'll come back in with the stun. But no, Ana tethers away to safety. Now Notel brings in this plus 160 damage to dissuade Newbee. But the failed rotation from Newbee is going to cost them. They really wanted that kill on Ana, but the positional play from OG, just too good.
That was just a flat-out outplay by Ana. Going into the bottom left corner there, so the Avalanche misses. Top lane, though, they're still going to get no-till here, I think.
Yeah, the stuns are out. Ana can't give that much, and that's actually first blood. Remember that technically the first one that happened was the denial inside the jungle. Still shows up on the board.
Topson, mid lane.
CCNC's getting hurt. Topson's still going to be a little bit more wary. Yeah, he's got double braces.
He has a lot of CS. He pushes out the lane, he retreats to the jungle, he farms 2 stacks. Mid-Bristle is one of the more effective farmers in the game.
Jirax may be in a little bit of trouble. Seb, he's trying to wait for the right purification time. Jirax going to pick him up, throw him back in again. Yawar, he's looking for a creep to infest into, and then he can start fighting again. Pop straight back out again, up to a lot of life. And the harassment kind of counts for nothing. As up, here they go once more. That nice observed ward is in deep, toss in forward, just putting MSS on the front lines. Notel will fall. As Newbee now start getting a little bit more active across the map, hunting for kills. And they've got that range enabler through CCNC.
I don't know how this last minute into the chat wheel. It's so.
Hey, what did they say in the thing? Like, I just want to be free. I want to be free to play Dota.
They also said, I want to use chat wheel. They were on holiday in Australia and they were like, I want to use chat wheel.
Yeah, shout out to the boat guy.
Yeah, the boat guy was great.
Yeah, can we have the boat guy on chat wheel? I'll be down for that.
I like what CCNC is doing in mid here. He's identifying that he pressured the Bristleback away from the lane for a bit, and that Bristle also wants a semi-jungle. So he's trying to constantly push the wave into the mid tower to force a response and defense, and that will allow him to eventually break down this tower. He's got about half of it so far, which is great.
They also identified the fact that Notel's preparing stacks. Grimstroke's in very deep. The Observer Ward's there. The Stomp not going to sleep up anyway. Grimstroke just going to TP away, realizing the stun's already been used. But these two Observer Walls has been placed down. Every time I've seen OG play this IO on Dire's side, they've always pulled him back around that 10-minute mark just to farming up those stack areas. And they're not looking to block. They're looking to contest with the wards. And here it is. Ana walks up high ground. It's like, all right, boys, maybe we should start getting some sentries out because now they're going to try and flash farm him. How much damage can you do? Like, do you actually just start pushing towers as opposed to contesting him?
That's one option. It's what Beastmaster's definitely going to do top, but Notail will try his best to delay this push as much as possible. One downside to playing 5 Elder Titan, though, is that your mana pool is relatively limited, so he kind of needs IO to to sustain him.
In the middle of the Ancients, he's battling for the 10-minute bounty runes. Once again, Newbee claiming all four bounty runes. Back-to-back bounty winners. Relocate from IO. It's pure efficiency. But he's already finished up the Dominator. Like how they're even giving the IO the tome.
Yep, get level 7, so you get level 4 spirits. And yeah, he's just jungling. He's got the Dom creep, got a Wolf.
The Observer Wards are still watching this, but obviously Newbee know. Like, if they're gonna go for it, then they've really got to go for it. But top lane may be an easier choice. You got Beastmaster Aura up on Snaking, Notel's backing off. The Spirit walked over the top of Grimstroke, but I don't think it actually clipped him enough.
Dire structures are fortified.
Doesn't look like OG are too interested in trying to even defend that tower.
No.
They're looking for a play of their own bottom. They have siege creeps. They've brought down the Bristleback, so I think we're going to see a 1-for-1 tower trade here with CCNC still trying to push out mid and getting whatever damage he can on that tower.
Such a hard hero to go on bottom lane, though. Like, Yawa's not going to go down. Like, that's still a lifesteal. His Infest is down, and looks like GRX, yeah, you'll be able to steal Rage, so that's all. So tier 1, as you said, for a tier 1 tower, straight trade-off. Anarchy's moving out of the jungle to ensure the tier 1 tower remains alive in mid. But with this movement up from Newbee, one, they'll get the D-ward on the Dire Obs if they see it as they walk past, which they definitely should. It's in range of the sentry. They gotta get rid of it quickly because the rest of OG is coming. Notel and Ana trying to work with the Alpha Wolf, even shrining early up. But the Familiar Birds are ready to fight. And they do not want to give Ana this room to breathe. And MSS even looking to steal the camp. Now Notel, actually on bottom lane too, but the stun, it comes in towards the Elder Titan. The nuke damage is a little bit faster. Yawa able to just get himself away. Topson underneath the tier 2 towers in pretty deep if anyone wants to try and contest that, but Newbee had pitched a tent right here inside the Dire jungle, and they don't want to go anywhere else. Even Highlight Die with fresh Observer Wars to make it work.
They're limiting IO's farm a lot if they can play aggressively up here. But
Topson's actually dead. He's so deep underneath this tower. They've got all the damage in the world. He couldn't use his TP to get away from this. And Yawa wants to remind him who's in charge. Tip Topson 4-1. And he was the number 1 net, or he is the number 1 net worth on the field. But the 3 right behind him are Newbees.
It's a big kill, but at the same time, it does force Newbee out of OG's jungle. That's what you get out of playing aggressive with Bristle like this. You know, to kill this guy, they need 3 heroes. If they're going to bring them and get that kill, he creates a lot of space for the other 2 cores in his team. Both the Omni Knight and the IO will now be getting a little bit of space. But you got to be careful not to die too much on Bristle. Like you said, it's the richest hero on the field, so a very valuable kill.
Do you actually like it where like Bristle's getting so much fun, but it's the life stealer? He's finished the Midas very early on, building in towards the Radiance. Yawa's timing is not being slowed down at all. Yeah. He's going to be ready for the team fight, probably before OG is.
Yeah, I think Newbee are in a pretty good position here. And what it's going to come down to is the IO's timing. I don't think OG are going to look to do anything, really, until IO is level 15. So level 15 IO with Axe, the faster the better for them.
Smoke up on mid, fortifications trying to let OG's wave push in a little bit harder, but they're wrapping around the back. The ET splitter, it's all going onto the Tiny, but CCNC will tank it up. They chain them together. Jirax dies so quickly. Nortel's going to join him as well. The GA from Seth, it arrives, but it's so late. And now Topson, this chain stun just continues to go on. The GA will wear off. Most of the abilities already been burnt from Newbee. The tower still brought down as well. That went to Topson.
Good luck killing the Bristle with Omni next to him.
Yeah,
That's
a little harder.
Double damage.
double damage.
But that entire fight happened without the life stealer, without the IO. The two are still on the polar sides of the map, having their own play. CCNC, and Topson's going after him. 4 quill spray stacks, familiar drop 1 and 2, creates a little bit of space. Stun time doesn't last long, and well, there is no stun available to stop CCNC's TP out.
OG still got the mid tower though, which is nice. Like, even if their heroes aren't particularly good at taking team fights, which was somewhat apparent there unless they're all together, they got the objective that they came for, and they're willing to lose 2 supports for that.
Grimstroke's in a little bit of trouble underneath the tower, looking for the stun, but Topson, easy movement speed to get away. The silence will slow him down a little bit, but MSS looking for a rebuttal. Just some damage into Seb, but one by one, Newbee are up here. The Blink Dagger of CCNC is about to arrive, but he's lost his teammates. Is there a toss back? No, he just blinks over. He's going for the 15-minute runes, closer towards his Beastmaster.
The stomp did not connect. This time OG get 1 rune.
Yeah, they got bottom. They got that from with Jirax. I think CCNC is really looking for a big burst.
Oh wait, they got 2 runes. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, they got the one up on top and one on bottom, so Topson and Jirax.
I actually thought they only got 1 top.
Raw, snaking.
Oh, he got it all.
Over on the top lane, and Omni Knight already protected by the Heavenly Grace. Nortel gonna ET splitter. It's more of space creation, nothing more. While
Really
on bottom
important.
lane, Jirax is maybe a little bit too far forward. Grimstroke's got the silence available. Life Sealer moves forward, but then there's a Rage TP away to safety. Have they got the DPS? They do not. Well, he actually was gonna get the silence in.
If Seb doesn't get the Heavenly Grace off there, he dies. The cast point on Heavenly Grace is pretty small. It's pretty fast to cast that spell, so reacted in time for the Roar. Effectively just baited out a Roar.
Do you like this with Grimstroke skipping the Soulbind at level 7? He's gone 4 points up in the Inkswell instead, but I was only thinking because that mid-fight, I was wondering where the Soulbind was. Where was the doubling of the Roar of the abilities?
I think sometimes it can be fine to bypass it. He has a lot of synergies this game though, but I do think he should probably skill at level 8, because the kind of fights that are going to be coming soon is with OG grouping up. IO is closing in on level 15. Newbie should know what's coming their way then, and the Soulbind can be the difference maker. Soulbinding IO to another hero, limiting IO's mobility, which is really high of course by being tethered to the Dom creep, is going to be really useful.
I don't think CCNC really wants this. Nortel and Topson, they're chasing the Tiny. It feels like CCNC is now just trying to create more and more space. You are still not finished up the Radiance just yet. Pylai Dai is going to have some issues inside the Dire jungle. Maybe he can deny himself up to the Ancients. This is kind of his hope, but it won't happen. Ana will claim his first kill of the game, and with that, the Aghanim Scepter is done 17 minutes in. Trade-off will be the tier 1 tower in mid. No fortification to stop that. Just the ET stomp to slow it down.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
It's a good spell still from Jirax, by the way. This is super useful for the next 3 minutes. I don't know if there's anything he wants more than this. Maybe if he can steal Roar after using Inkswell, it can give them a fantastic fight. But Inkswelling a Bristleback that's tethered basically hastes him almost, and that's dangerous.
This is the time that Newbee will be properly tested.
Yep.
You've got Bristleback totally ready to fight. Full Crimson Guard. You actually have a medallion flying out in the courier. Mass wards are arriving as well. You have the Aghanim Scepter and Dominator build over on the IO. Ana can relocate in if they find themselves a fight. So they smoke up and they look for it. But what does Newbee do? They hide out. In fact, they then move their own smoke down to bottom lane. They're chasing Ana in the trees, and they need to stop that. They need to actually stop the relocate. They're able to do so. The silence arrived in time from Pylai Dai, and Ana totally controlled. He moved his Dominator creep back so he could potentially tether away to safety, but that won't happen. But Ana loses his life. What's the rebuttal? With always OG, there's a trade. It's the tier 1 tower top.
Yep. And there's no way they defend that from Newbee, but they're buying time, right? They need to get this Lifestealer his Radiance.
Yep.
Lifestealer has not really been much of a hero this game so far, as it usually is when you go the Radiance build. You need that time to build up. And so far, so good. Sure, you lose this top tier 1 tower. I don't think it's the biggest deal as long as you don't start losing map control completely.
Oh, found a new target. Grimstroke is actually the Inkswell that Durak still had. Stunning up Lifestealer. Rage is available. He's got a creep wave to infest into, and he's got some problems. Topson's moved in through the lane too. He needs a little bit more time. Who's he going to reach? A familiar? Is he going to reach anyone? They just have the Avalanche to create some space with MSS's stuns. Up they go. Toss him away. Shrine's still on cooldown for the moment, but Yawar can get life straight out of the jungle. They have to keep him alive. 4.5k gold on Yawar.
And OG, they could Roche really soon. Are they actually?
They're going in. They have Medallion, so why not? Alpha Wolf's there too.
Medallion, Goo, Wolf. Yep. It's a quick kill. Wow, that's faster than I thought it would. So I knew it would be pretty fast.
Newbee can just go for a trade then. It's the tier 1 tower on bottom lane for Roshan, that's all.
But now it gets dangerous. I think OG will try to maybe even high ground with this. So they've hit this like insane timing now. Either they high ground now or they wait for the heart, which is probably going to take longer than the Aegis unless Ana has some ridiculous kill streak coming his way now. So
they're chasing CC&C. This Blink's on cooldown. Pilot Eye's nearby. He'll give a little bit of extra help, but Durak has the toss available. Doesn't even get the stun off through the Inkswell. Pilot Eye's TP out. Takes a little longer, but he'll be away. So only chip damage into the tier 2. And Yawar gets away with the bounty rune. Radiance is flying over. He'll send that straight back as he rage TPs away to safety.
Pretty even game right now, though. But you kind of have this feeling that OG will have this ridiculous fight soon coming their way. After what you've seen in the group stages, how they've run this lineup, them having the Aegis, oh, that courier needs to not die. All right, they got the Radiance at least, but
they're going to lose Pilot Eye. MSS will have some space. Yawar beating into Ana, relocates away to safety. And she relocated into that. And now Topson battles against Yawar. Yawar, he needs a creep to work with. He needs something to work with. MSS can't help him out. And Topson, Grave Chill, Durak's moved in through the side. A quick toss, catching the two of them together. They just keep buffing up Topson. Not even a ridiculous team fight. It's just an easy play where Topson knows just how strong he is. Grabs the creep wave from up on top. He'll pull it towards mid as well. So all the pressure from snaking to the tier 2 tower will also just be negated.
OG just have insane vision up here. Ana knew exactly what he could get away with that relocate play because of the deep ward that they've had for so long. 3 minutes. They've had this deep high ground ward in the Radiant top jungle. And it's high ground time.
It is. 21 minutes in. It's the OG special. Pushing into the tier 3 tower. So snaking. They just have to almost let it go. Fortification will arrive, but until Lifesteal is back up, they can't fight. But new items arriving. Solar Crest is up. Rod of Atos on Omni Knight. They'll take the tier 3 tower. And there's no reason why you need to back up. Not unless a big initiation from Newbee is able to connect. Ana and Topson, the ones on the front line. Remember, Ana's still got that Aegis Immortal. Yawar copping heavy damage early on. The rest of OG, Smoke sitting behind, CC&C, nice toss back. They pull Ana in so deep under the tier 4 towers. They kill him quickly, but CC&C pounced on by the rest of OG. He won't have the ability to fight again here as the stop. It puts all of Newbee to sleep under the tier 4 towers. The Soulbind tries to connect, and then she got anything to, can they kill Ana once again with the Soul Assumption? He's just tanking through all of this with the one charges. Topson stacking everybody up as well with the core sprays. They can get back to base, but even that's not safe. One more spray, maybe Snaking will die. Topson waiting under the tower. He's just tanking through all of it. A triple kill for Topson. Nowhere is safe when OG hit their timing.
He just killed 3 heroes with the fountain. Oh, Bristleback, what a hero. Beautiful play from OG there. I think it was an admirable attempt from CC&C to toss the IO into the tower, but dying for that kill without having buyback is just too costly. They can't take the fight afterwards. They don't have enough damage to get through the IO twice with the Omni Knight protecting it, as well as a good defensive stomp from No-Tail, stopping 2 heroes on the Aegis respawn. They kind of used up their entire tank on the first kill, as we see in the replay here. They try to go on the IO. That's just not enough. He gets healed up, gets Heavenly Graced, and even relocates.
For a moment, it looked like they would have a chance, but Topson literally stands there and delivers. Oh my. Yes, of course, there's a bunch of grins on their face like, hey guys, we got this really great combo it seems that no other team knows how to play against. And it's almost props to Newbee. They let the IO through the first phase. They knew they were going to play against us. They had a plan.
They get props for that?
Well, they get props for attempting. Like it's like a participation ribbon.
Yeah, I kind of like the idea that Newbee had. It just feels like the moment that OG got the Aegis, the game got really hard. And I think that's the biggest mistake Newbee made all game, was going to the bottom side of the map and exposing the Roshan for OG to take, because, yeah, Snaking's dead, by the way.
Yeah, he was trying to force out the bottom lane, but he's walking underneath dire vision.
Basically, what ended up happening was when OG grabbed this Aegis, they felt invincible, because the one way Newbee win fights is by blowing up the IO first. And they can't do it when there's an Aegis on it. They tried it in their base, it failed, and it gave OG pretty much a 10k gold lead. But if you play in that Roshan side of the map instead of the bottom area, the time when the OG goes, maybe you can delay them, maybe you can get a soulbind fight around the Roche pit or whatnot. But it's just too easy when you give a Bristleback lineup with IO that Aegis for free.
MSS now gonna work with Yawaz. It's a surprise. He was inside the familiar.
That was a sexy play, actually. That was really nice.
Now Sep's looking for a rebuttal. Yawaz, he's just gonna let MSS die. Nothing else that can be done about this. He can do some chip damage in the meantime, but Yawaz had to come back to base because Topson's still here trying to pressure.
They were not expecting that to be an infest play at all.
Familiars used as transportation.
Yep.
And that's some classic Tinker stuff. Everywhere on the map you can go.
OG is still going to get 4 bounties. The game has still been played at their pace for the last 5 minutes, so sure, this Ana kill, it's nice and it looked cool, but you're not progressing the game really. You have to push out your mid lane. Oh, maybe they'll catch
find a new target. Access to fly out. Oh, Snaking. Does he want to roar on that? Probably not. Pylai dies. Think he better slow down. Instead, Snaking. Another boar up. CCNC. It's the Avalanche. Support's coming in. OG, they have chased way too far here, Newbee. OG owned a tier 2 tower. They have friends to help them out. The Soulbind connecting OG together. The Roar catching 2. Bristleback being pushed around to the side. But man, the Stomp from Notel, they just create more and more space. And where is this damage that Newbee was meant to have? It's not there. They should probably be very happy that the only person they lost was CCNC.
Yeah, that could have gone a lot worse. The Omnia was just too fast with the phase boots.
They just chase and chase too.
Phase boots and drums. They eventually caught up to him, but they couldn't even get the toss back. Yeah,
now Roar and Soulbind is down. You got a 50-second to a minute window of opportunity for OG to pressure in through bottom. And no Aegis Immortal, but they're about to get, with the Tower Death, it's going to be the heart on IO.
Yeah, in the upcoming fight, the IO either had heart or a buyback. That's something else to keep in mind. Sure, maybe you don't have an Aegis, but you can still buyback relocate. Similar to how OG played their Spectre last year. They love playing this hero that can buyback and reconnect to the fight. And this is the only other hero in the game that can put on except Nature's Prophet. Maybe that's the next one he'll play carry. Who knows? But yeah, he's getting the heart. This kill is ridiculously difficult to
jump
perform.
in, toss back. They found themselves a target. But Bristleback with a fresh Assault Cuirass. That's a lot of life and armor they have to get through. Yawaz giving it a shot. OG have come in deep. CCNC once again just stunned up a control from the back line, trying to create more space. He'll be the first one to die here. The Roar is finally out, but for what avail? Nothing is really going here. And Topson, he's the man that's going into the fountain once again. Bathe in the glory of the Radiant. Topson, he just does not give a crap. Ana will give all the life. This is just fountain farming. Gee, you got it. This is soul breaking. GG. GG. Message has been sent. You weren't home, but we smacked through the door and delivered it anyway. What's that?
Oh man, that was my favorite moment of the game. Pylai die with the OK GG. Oh man. OG always have these quirky strats. Honestly, I think this will be the last game of the tournament they get IO.
Yeah.
I'm pretty convinced. Just, it's not because the hero is unbeatable or uncounterable, but OG just have these they have these multiple different weird strategies that they can run with it, and you'd probably rather not worry about it. Similar to how, thinking back at TI5, AOI's techies, it's like one of those off-brand heroes, you're like, or Wisp, so it's probably just safer to, you know what? the IO so to play a more normal game of Dota that we're used to. Because you see, this Bristleback, Omni combination, like what are you gonna ban, right? If they can run this IO core with 5 different cores in their lineup, you're not gonna be able to prevent them from getting some sort of strategy like this.
They hit their timing every time. OG.
Hey, thanks for watching, guys. Please hit that subscribe button, and I appreciate you guys liking the video. Have a nice day.